It's happened. Got ourselves a cash grab sequel.
Money, money, money.
Nah, gotta have this talk as well. Gotta have the cash grab sequel talk. So we'll have that later. We'll have that soon. Hello everybody, welcome to Film Fireside. Trolls World Tour dropped today. I'd like to take a second to just encourage you to rent the film. As this review goes on, spoiler alert, it wasn't my favorite film. However, if you're in a position where you can support this film either by renting this or even Invisible Man, Emma, The Hunt, this film specifically, the fact that this film was supposed to release to theaters and instead of pushing the release date back like Disney did or other production companies are doing, that they are just releasing it and letting us enjoy this film, that's really awesome. And that feels like they're trying to just help people. I read that a lot of people criticizing Universal for doing this because of the $20 rental price. It's not a problem. Think about a household going to the movies and how much that costs. Depending on the size of the household, it is much more expensive to just have $20 for 48 hours to watch it through that 48 hours multiple times if you want. Member of the family, everyone chip in a few bucks, boom. It would be awesome. You would be saving money in the long run instead of this being released in theaters and going to the theaters. So no, it's not that expensive. Team up with some friends, get the movie, chip in, y'all watch it together, use a similar account and watch Trolls. We need to support this company because guess what? They're gonna lose money from this. They straight up are. Okay, that rant over. Other rant's kind of gonna begin. Here's how I approach sequels like this, especially a film that wasn't made with the intention of a sequel to follow said film. A sequel is a problem for two reasons. First of all, it's just unfortunately a sequel. It's just gonna be compared to the original. The second problem sequels have is something that's actually a little more in the filmmaker's control. The filmmaker has control of how much they unnecessarily depend on the humor and the jokes and the plot points from the original. And I gotta be honest with you, this film, it didn't seem the filmmakers were too concerned about that. Granted, the jokes felt fresh. It's not like they weren't always retelling a joke necessarily that was from the first one. There are new jokes. Stylistically speaking, it's the same, which is actually one of the things I liked about the film. However, I would say the overall structure and things that we saw were pretty dependent upon the first film's existence. It's dependent upon the context of the first film. It's not necessarily effective to do that. It's not necessarily ineffective to do that, because I mean, if it's an actual continuation of a story, in many ways it didn't feel like a continuation of a story. It felt like a separate story within this same world. Therefore, it made it feel extremely unnecessary. And as it would depend upon things from the first film, it felt labored, it felt not warranted. So this film definitely suffers from some sequelitis. One of the ways I try to give a sequel the benefit of the doubt, because I mentioned, the first thing I mentioned is it's just unfortunately a sequel. It was made because the production company wanted more money.
Money, money, money.
That's not the film's fault, you know what I mean? I can't fault things of the film. I can't fault good things that came from this film just because it's a sequel. So what I try to do to help myself get in that mindset is I try to pretend. So in this situation, I'm going to pretend I never saw Trolls 1, that it doesn't even exist, and that I saw Trolls World Tour, and then that 2 years from now, I see Trolls, if that made any type of sense. Basically meaning Trolls World Tour would be the original, and then the first Trolls made in 2016 would be the sequel. I pretend that that's the case, and that as I'm watching the new sequel, am I going, oh man, this is just dumb. We should have just stuck with the original one. I spent all this time to explain that complicated brain game I do when watching sequels, to say all of it, to just say no, that didn't really make a difference for this film, because sometimes that can help me appreciate a sequel a little more if I go, yeah, I would have been bashing on the first one for being a sequel just because it was a sequel as well. I genuinely think I prefer Trolls 1 regardless. I'm happy I watched the film. I'm happy with this experience I had with this film. I watched this film with my wife. We laughed so hard. It was just so fun to just laugh. I love laughing with my wife. So this film gave me that nice experience with my wife. I'm really grateful for that. It all just comes down to the fact that I really didn't need this film. Okay, sequel rant, over. Now let's just talk strictly the film. Like I said, it's really funny. I really enjoyed it. I laughed a lot. There are some great character decisions. Getting into some of the things where it was like, okay, this just feels like a sequel because of the decisions they're making. One of the ways it kind of feels that way is just the music. It seemed like, oh, well, we're trolls, and this is what we do. Gonna throw all these songs and pop culture references in there and all these music numbers, which a lot of them were extremely unnecessary and extremely pointless. Whereas in the first Trolls, part of the charm of using music in the first Trolls was that it felt very intentional. So as far as this film, I didn't really feel like it brought anything new to the table that was like, yay! Well, one of the benefits was this awesome song. There really wasn't a song that had me like just... yes, this was so fun. Also, just with like the structure of the story a little bit, a lot of like intense plot things happen kind of in an abrupt way that doesn't really flow. This is just one example. A character gets really mad at Poppy for something she didn't do out of just nowhere, and it's not even justified, but it was used so the story can go a specific way, not from a genuine place of truth. Other than that, that's really all I got with this film. It was fine. I liked it. The score I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Wow! It's all right. Again, you may think that's a little high.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
I can't knock a film for doing what it was going for, and I feel like this film accomplished what it was going for. And I had an enjoyable experience with it. Thank you so much for watching. Go check out Trolls World Tour. It's a fun, enjoyable experience, and then tell me what you thought about the film. I really want to hear your thoughts on the film. Bring up some discussions with me in the comments. I've been trying to be good at just replying to everybody, so let me know. Comment, like, subscribe. Bye-bye.